Here we are live. It's the Bradley J. Show, and I'm with Hirsh Gardner, the band New England, but also of Guitar Center fame. That's where I go, the Berkeley Guitar Center. It's by far the best guitar center. I don't know if it's because of Hirsch or because of Berkeley, but it's the best. And
Thank you. You're so kind.
Hirsch is here to talk about a new project he's doing with John Butcher. So the floor is yours. Tell us all about it.
Well, this is a really interesting thing. John and I have known each other for like a million years. Back in our early '70s. I'm dating myself, right? We both played in local bands. John Butcher Axis, I was in a band called Target, which eventually became New England. I mean, and we all played the local clubs, the Groggery, Bunratty's, Katie's. Even Aerosmith played. Katie's, yeah.
That's right.
And the Rat. So John and I have known each other forever. And several months ago, John and I did a gig at the Spire Center, which is a beautiful venue down in Plymouth, Mass. And we were just backstage, just shooting the breeze and chit-chatting. And, John said, Hirsch, man, we've known each other for like so long. And I said, yeah, we have quite a history together. And I said, well, listen, we've never really done any music together, which is really odd. Most musicians in Boston have all worked together at some point. And so John said, well, listen, do you have some songs you're working on? I was like, yeah, I've got hundreds of songs. So what I did is I sent John a couple of days later, I sent him 3 song ideas that were that I had come up with that were unfinished. And of course, Bradley, you probably got 100 songs in the, on your digital audio workstation that, are in various stages of undress or dress, as you would have it. Right. And so I sent John, these songs. He sent me back a note, like almost immediately. Hirsch, this one song you sent me is called Two Hearts. It's amazing. I love this. I said, well, listen, we need to finish this up. And, I've got some lyrical ideas that I wanted to throw by you. And he threw some ideas at me. We came up with, eventually we just, came up with the whole song is complete. And Two Hearts is our song about inclusiveness. And, we've all learned far too late that we need to love each other, no matter who we are, no matter what we are, no matter what we believe in, color, creed, religion, all of that stuff. And so there's just way too much negativity in the world. And I think Two Hearts is the answer to that. It's the correct answer. It's, we need to embrace everybody. We need to be just open-minded. We need to be respectful. Some of the lyrics, this is really cool. The sun can't get much brighter. The road not 1 ounce lighter. We're knocked down, but we're still fighters. Two hearts is one. And that's verse 1 in this song, and it pretty much says it all. That no matter what's going on in our lives, good, bad, and different, we need to embrace each other. And I think that's what Two Hearts is all about. Song turned out great. I'm loving it. It's one of the best things that John and I've done.
So what's the very first kernel of the song that you popped into your head? Was it the melody? Was it the words? Was it just the phrase "Two Hearts"? Was it that first line that popped into your head?
My songwriting takes a lot of different paths. Usually what I'll do is I'll sit at the piano and play some chords, and the chorus section of this has a nice descending bass line, which opens up a lot of melodic ideas. And then I'll start humming a melody, and then the lyrics will come pretty quickly. And so that chorus came to me almost immediately as soon as I started playing this thing. And then what I'll do is I'll just I don't know if there's any music producers and people out there, but I use Pro Tools. So basically what I'll do is I'll record like a scratch piano track, and then I'll just record a scratch lead vocal just to see if it's all melting together correctly. And then from there I added, obviously I'm a drummer, so I added my drum parts, played some acoustic guitar, added all the different keyboard tracks that are in the song, added some nice bass tracks, sent it to John at that point. And we all know that John is the guitar wizard in the city of Boston. He's just an amazing, amazing player. then he came up with the most gorgeous melody for the intro, and also for the guitar solo. So and of course, I've got John's lead vocals all over the song, singing harmony with me, and that's kind of the way it eventually evolved.
I always love hearing about how people write songs. Actually, I'm meeting up with Dave Herlihy, whom you know, I'm sure,
Absolutely, yeah.
tomorrow, and we're going down to the cave and trying to bang out a song in one overnight session. When we haven't started it yet. It's one of those. I suppose we'll start on the drive down, which is going to be long because it's on the way to the Cape. But I suppose we can work in the car on coming up.
So do you have lyrical ideas that you'll throw out to him, or?
Well, my idea is this. I think an easy way to write a song is to get a chorus first, and then just some chorus, and there are a lot of old sayings that you can use as choruses, wise old sayings like Stones, you can't always get what you want.
There you go.
Get what you want. So that kind of old-timey saying, we could come up with one of those and then wrestle some lyrics around, some verses around, and maybe that's a start. And I'm going to bring my bass and it's a small 25 amp bass amp, and when we get down there, we'll try to blam something together. Jeff Berlin, who is a voice guy and producer, he's got his Pro Tools down there, so he'll take care of that. And we're trying to get him to play keyboard, and Dave will play his guitar. By the way, Dave, I just found out, maybe you just found out, is going to be doing the next Come Together Beatles thing with Chachi at the City Winery.
Terrific.
He's going to do the music. And yeah, I saw you. That's where I saw you the other day, so I know that you know what I'm talking about. That's going to be the 16th, I think, and it's going to feature Ringo.
Yes.
So there's that. Can I ask you some questions about your band, New England?
Absolutely, sure.
It's really hard to come up with a band name. I've been trying to think of something, project name for a couple of months. It's going to be perfect. Did you guys wrestle with that and the band New England, or did you just say, let's just call it New England?
We did wrestle with it, and it was, Boston came out in 1977, and New England came out in 1979, and everybody just thought we were copying Boston. But quite to the contrary, New England, we all grew up listening to English prog bands. Yes, King Crimson, early Genesis, 10cc. So we were very inspired by English music, hence England. And that's where the England came from. The new from New England to us really didn't have anything to do with the geography or the band Boston or any of the other bands that were named Kansas and people like that. To us, it was a new English sound that we were producing with our music.
I see.
And once our music came out, a lot of people did compare us to some of those early English bands and even the Beatles with our vocal harmonies and things like that. So that's where the band name New England actually came up, and really didn't have anything to do with the geography or we certainly didn't want to copy Boston. They had already made their mark with the name.
But even though that was your intention, you spent the rest of your life explaining that it had nothing to do with geographical New England.
We're still talking about it.
Everybody figured it did. Can you go through just the bare bones? I know you have to get back to work. The bare bones of how New England the band came to be.
Yeah, sure. I went to Berklee College of Music. I'm originally from Toronto, Canada. So way back when I came to Boston and played in several bands while I was here. And Jimmy Waldo, who was a keyboard player at that time for a band called Fatback, we knew each other just through playing at the Boston Club, which, by the way, eventually became the Paradise. And then they needed a drummer, so they asked me to join the band, which I was glad to do. And so it was basically just me and Jimmy and a bass player and a lead singer, and there was no guitar player in the band. So Jimmy and I folded that band up and eventually got Gary Shea to play bass. And John Fannin was in another band called Flash Pudding. And they were playing the same circuit that we were, the Groggery, Katie's, Bunratty's, the places we mentioned earlier. So, we, excuse me, we asked John to join our group. And that eventually became New England. Now, that all started in about, 73, 74, 75. We were playing clubs all over the country. We'd pack up we had like a 20-foot ice cream truck that we converted into a band truck and a van. And we would travel the country just, with the band truck and the van, sleeping in the van, middle of the winter in Michigan. Boy, those are the days of touring, right?
Yeah.
And
I never did that, so I shouldn't say yup like I know what it's like, because I don't, because I didn't do it. But I can come close to imagining, I think.
And what's interesting is it's almost like it's a reciprocal thing. It's all come around. The kids are doing that. The younger kids are doing that now. They'll just pack all their stuff up in a little truck, and then they'll go on a national tour, and they'll be driving all over the country. So because there's really no tour support from record companies anymore, you kind of have to do it on your own, and that's what folks are doing in bands these days. But that's what we did back then. Eventually, in 1977, we said, okay, we're done playing nightclubs. We're done being beer salesmen. We want to play at Madison Square Garden, and that's where we set our sights. So in 1977, New England, we just started recording material. We had a friend of ours who had a studio in Philadelphia, and we would drive down on weekends and record, and then drive back to Boston and continue, and we would rehearse. That band rehearsed like 5, 6, 7 days a week. And eventually, KISS was playing in Providence, Rhode Island, and their second in command in their management company's name was Rick Aliberti. It was suggested to him, hey, you got to see these guys. They're incredible. So Rick drove over to Braintree, which was where I lived and where I had my rehearsal studio. Rick saw the band, was blown away, invited Bill Aucoin to come down from Aucoin Management. And Bill was probably one of the biggest managers in the business at that point. Managed KISS, and he went on to manage Billy Squier, Billy Idol. And so Bill, flew up to Boston almost immediately and saw us play in our little 30 by 30 rehearsal studio. I mean, huge Marshall stacks, SBT amps, big, huge drum kit. And we blew Bill away. He was just like, oh my God. He actually said, you guys are one of the best live bands I've ever seen. Here's a guy who's managing KISS, and he's telling us that.
Right.
Okay. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We were signed to Bill Aucoin Management within a month, and then probably within 3 or 4 or 5 months, we had a record deal. And from there, in our first tour, we toured with KISS.
Did you get a lawyer before you signed the deal with him? Or
absolutely.
You did?
Absolutely. Get a lawyer.
Yeah. Good.
It was a pretty hefty deal with the record companies, which ultimately would pay for, the great producers that we had. We had Mike Stone produced our first album with Paul Stanley, who's the guitar player in KISS. It doesn't get any better than that when you're, you're singing in the studio, and on the other side of the glass is one of the greatest rock stars in the history of music. Whether you like KISS or not, I mean, Paul Stanley.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's huge. This is this is your first thing. This is your first deal.
Yeah.
So wow. And I guess that became possible because you rehearsed so much. You were good, but you were serious enough to rehearse that much. So when the guy came, you really popped. Boom, like that.
Yeah, and I still see comments from people online. Which is the great connector these days, the people that saw us live and were just blown away by the tightness of the band. And don't forget, when you're playing with KISS, I mean, you're getting a 5-minute sound check. So we just say, hey, man, we don't even care if we get a sound check. We're tight. Just get it together on the soundboard out front, and we'll be where you need us to be.
Right. That's so cool.
And that was the case.
And well, that's fantastic. Where can people? So the Two Hearts comes out. It's available when?
It's going to be released Friday, and so what we're going to do is we're going to post links for people to go to. It's going to be on all the major streaming thingies, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, and all that stuff. But Friday is the day. So just keep an eye on, the Facebook thing and Instagram and TikTok and Twitter. We'll be all over the place. John's going to make an announcement, I believe, tomorrow, that we're releasing it on Friday. And please listen. Please make some comments. Please buy the track. We're right now we're talking about the possibility of donating any of the funds that we get from streaming, which unfortunately is just not really that lucrative these days.
No.
But we're hoping that we're going to be able to donate the money to either the national or local LGBTQ chapters, which is what we all believe in. And the song is all about that inclusiveness that I mentioned earlier. And I want to mention one more thing. Thank you to Steve Serra. You may remember him. He's the guitar player in Axminster. He owns Moody Street Video, and Steve also produced and directed the video that we are releasing on Friday as well. So we got a whole bunch of things. Got a whole bunch of things for the fans. I hope you love it.
All right. And is it okay if anybody's walking down Mass Ave near your store to come in and say hi to you? I mean,
oh, absolutely.
It's okay.
Come on down. I'll help you buy some stuff, and and musicians, you should always come and just see me. I'll take care of you.
Yeah, and if you have enough guitars or whatever, if you have a guitar and you really want it to be like a Maserati, take it in for one of their tune-ups. Is it I got a platinum tune-up. Is that what they call it? Oh my
yes,
God.
sir. Yeah.
Completely worth it. I don't know what it was, but how much it was, but I thought that was totally worth it. And so that's another excuse to go in and see Hirsh, or just go in even if he's not there. So thank you so much. Congratulations on the new song. Please say hello to John, and all the success in the world to you both.
Bradley, thank you, man. It's always great to be with you, and it's a pleasure, man.
It is cool. I'm glad that we've stayed in touch or reconnected. You came by WBZ once or twice. Once, I guess. That was nice.
Yep.
And it's good to know you're out there. And I always, whenever I walk by there, which is quite a lot, because I take the Symphony, I don't like taking the D or C line.
Right.
I like taking the E line. So I walk down to Symphony, and I walk by a lot. So thank you very much. And again, say hi to John, and make sure you share this. I'll send you a link to share this, and I will share it as well to get the word out there. So thanks.
All right, my man. Thanks. Have a great day.
Okay, don't go away. We'll be